Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. It's been a little over 9 months since the financially struggling Detroit Public School District was restructured after a bailout from the state. The district was split in two, and an interim superintendent was appointed for the new Detroit Public Schools Community District. Now the search is narrowing for a permanent leader. Joining me now to give a progress report on the district is the interim superintendent, Alycia Meriweather. Welcome back to American Black Journal.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Great to be back.
Absolutely. I know that you are too much of a class act to bring this up, so I'm going to bring it up first. The fact that they are in the middle of this superintendent search and your name is not among the finalists has been something that I've heard lots of people talk about over the last few weeks. A lot of people scratching their heads about that, wondering why that's so. I want to give you a chance to just address that for a little bit. You've done the work here for a little over a year now, I think it is. And I think everyone thought you'd done enough to be considered for this permanent job. Talk about how that looks from your chair.
Well, you know, I was commenting to you before we started that it literally was a year ago, I think, that I was in the studio with you.
Here, right?
About 2 weeks after my appointment. So 12 months have passed, and I've kind of joked that it feels like 12 years have passed, the amount of things that have happened in the last year. Yeah. And really, where we are right now as a district is incredibly different. Yes. It's a different place. We are in a different space than we were a year ago. And I think, first of all, I really want to be clear with people that I am very, very confident that the district is on a path for success. And I'm very, very confident that the staff and administrators, families are going to continue to see progress in Detroit Public Schools Community District. Obviously, the Board of Education was required by law to find a new superintendent. That was one of the first tasks that they were given. And they did a national search, and when that search was completed, there were 3 candidates. One has dropped out, and now there are 2. Right. One was interviewed earlier this week, and the second will be interviewed on Monday. Mm-hmm. And at that point, the board will make a decision how they're going to move forward. I will say it has been incredibly affirming to have people comment on the work of the last year like you did. Yeah. And to say things, you know, it's one thing for people to support you a year ago, right? So people, the teachers put my name forward. Yes. And it was one thing at that point. It was a hope and a dream to say, this is what we want. We want to see Alycia Meriweather lead from the inside. Sure. So just to refresh people's memories, the people pulled me forward and said, we want Alycia Meriweather to lead. Yeah. And so I've led for the last year, and it's been my great privilege and honor to do so. And for me, at this point, a year later, to have people affirming the choice. It's one thing a year ago.
It's another
12
thing to
months
say,
later to
12
say,
months later, I'm still comfortable with that.
I'm still behind you, and we are thankful for your work. So that's incredibly affirming. And I just need to give credit to the board for following through with their process. And let's just watch and see what happens. Yeah.
Talk a little about, you said up front, this is a different space. The district is in a different space today than it was a year ago when you took over. I agree. I mean, I think if there's any word that I would use and that I've heard other people use to describe the district over the last 12 months, it's been stability. Mm-hmm. That you have brought stability that was terribly, terribly missing for a really long time. I mean, the district was a really tumultuous place for a long time. But talk about what that stability has meant from your vantage point. What are the things that you feel like have had the most impact on the district?
I think you hit the nail on the head. This element of stability and trust being built over the last 12 months was critical. And I put those items into a category of culture. So district culture, or how we do business, or how people feel about an organization. And what I would say, a year ago, the culture in the district was fairly toxic. If you remember, a year ago, we had the sick-outs, we had the principal indictments, we had the fact that we were running out of money, and then we were running out of money again, and the CBAs were all expiring, and all of these different challenges, and there was just a sense of unsettledness, unrest. Yeah. And right now, you know, what I would say, if you go into any schools and just there's a sense of calm. There's a sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
And it's taken this long to get to that point where you have some stability. Once you're stable, now you can move.
Right.
So you can't move an organization when there's such instability. Yeah. So this last year has really been about building trust, building stability, and then I'll be honest, one of my main areas of focus was communication and making sure that employees received communication and affirmation for the hard work that they do on a daily basis. I established a Monday's message that I write personally. So I write a message every Monday out to staff. And the very first message I ever wrote about a year ago was coming out of spring break. And it made an analogy with the district coming out of a long, hard winter and moving forward into spring. And I was so touched at that time because so many employees printed that. They hung it. They sent me daffodils because I had a picture of a daffodil. And I said, I want this to be a symbol of our renewal, of us moving forward. And people really, really were looking for that type of leadership. And someone from the inside, I know the pain, I know the struggle, and it's time to move forward. And so we've spent this last year moving forward.
Yeah. A lot of the problem in the past, I think, has been that the administration has seen teachers as being the other, right? You're on the other side of negotiations. You are on the other side of the achievement question. You are on the other side of the parental involvement question. There was always this sort of tension. And one of the things I think you've done, or I've watched you do over 12 months, is sort of say, well, you know, let's not approach it that way. And just what you were talking about there, this idea of affirming the work that people are doing. You know, this is a really challenged school district. The outcomes are nowhere near what any of us want them to be. But the approach of saying to teachers, this is your fault and I'm going to take it out on you because those are not true, it doesn't work, and it hasn't worked for such a long time.
Or for administrators or for anyone. What I would say is shaming people has never inspired them. Yeah. So the culture of shame or embarrassment or chastising doesn't inspire excellence. Right. You know, when you look at excellence, what you're looking at is showing people what excellence is, giving people the support that they need, but acknowledging the work. This is hard work. Yeah. I mean, there's no two ways about it. This is difficult, challenging work, and there are people who are working very hard. Administrators, teachers, lunchroom ladies, you know, from every element, our security force, our bus drivers, every single person, our clericals, every single person in the organization is working very diligently in very challenging circumstances.
Yeah. You, of course, have focused a lot on academics as well in the last 12 months. One of the areas that I know is pretty close to your heart is STEAM,
yes.
The science and technology end of things. Talk about what we're seeing with that now.
So definitely a focus on STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And we've run several series. We did a STEAMy Summer series last summer with our cultural institutions, offering free programming for our families on the weekends and in the evenings. And then we did a STEAMy Winter, which we just are concluding actually today with our huge showcase at Eastern Market. Right. So today from 12 to 3, if people are available, please come down. I'll be there. I hope to see you there. We'll be highlighting many of the things that are happening in our schools around STEAM education, and then also some special programs that happen outside of school. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for people to see Detroit Public Schools Community District now, not who we were, right. Who are we now and who are we moving towards becoming. Yeah. All of our 97 schools will be there, as well as the EAA schools that will be joining our portfolio July 1. And so at Shed 3 at Eastern Market today from 12 to 3. Great opportunity to see all of the schools at once. Yeah. So principals, staff, and activities.
What's the next step for this district in terms of, again, continuing that march forward to better outcomes? That's really the thing that everyone is focused on. We've not seen it in decades in this city. What do we have to do?
We need to stick to a plan, and we need to keep moving. You know, one of the things that people say is you can't keep doing the same things over and over and expect different results. Right. I would argue that this district has not been allowed to do the same thing and continue on a path to excellence. We have not been allowed to do that.
It's always interrupted somewhere.
It's interrupted in some kind of way. To your point, in the last 7 years, we had 5 emergency managers, and then I was the 6th leader.
Right.
6th leader in 7 years, and I was the only leader from the inside of the district. And I've been with the district, as people know, since I was 4 years old.
Right.
But I've been an employee, a teacher for 12 years, and I became an administrator in 2007. So 20 plus years of experience, putting that in play and then moving the needle in terms of saying, what is our focus here? Yeah. I know the pain that we've been through. I know how hard people are working. But at this point, that work has to be towards the ultimate goal of moving achievement. And so our new academic plan with the 5 pillars, literacy, innovation, career pathways, family and community, wraparound services, we need to continue moving forward. That is really what I think the key is we actually are seeing, I'm really pleased to share with you actually, that our middle of the year student growth for our priority schools, those are our most challenged schools. Middle of the year to year comparison, we have all of our schools in the priority schools are showing more students hitting their growth target than last year, and almost half of them doubling from last year.
Wow.
So to me, that's a testimony to the efforts of those building leaders, teachers, and the support staff that's helping those schools. And I think also, I don't think you can discount the stability and just the intentional focus. We're not talking about finances anymore. Right. We need to keep our eye on the finances and make sure we don't get into trouble again.
And we, of course, need more money, but that's another
conversation. But that's another show, right? So right now, with what we have, we are in the black, and we have a balanced budget. We also have the ability right now to focus on academics. That's what we are. We're an academic institution.
Right. Before I let you go, I want to ask you about this process again, this superintendent process. A lot of people trying to put pressure on the board now to open up the process and put your name in there alongside these other 2 finalists. If that happened, would you be comfortable? Being a finalist in that way?
You know what, I support the board in following their process, and if it comes to a point that question would be asked, and in reality, then I'll answer it in that time.
No hypotheticals?
No hypotheticals. I'm going to trust the board to follow the process, and if the process leads in a different direction, then I'll answer the question at that time.
But of course, you would like to stay.
Oh, I would love to stay.
Yes.
I would love to stay and continue the work that we've been doing. I honestly am very, very proud of the work, not just in the last year, but my whole career, but most specifically the last year. When I talk to superintendents of other districts, they often say, you know, of the list of things that's happened in the 12 months you've been in that seat, I've dealt with maybe 1 in my entire tenure, and you've had 10 in 12 months. And really, I'm just so thankful that we've worked through it, navigated through it, and I do feel very confident the Detroit Public Schools Community District is on the right path.
So even if you don't stay, you'll hand it off in good shape to someone else.
Well, I definitely want to see the district continue towards excellence. Absolutely. It's my heart. I mean, this is my city. This is my school district. On many, many levels, I care deeply about the school system and our children.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We'll hope for the best for the district as well.
Thank you. Absolutely. Everybody hope for the best and work towards the best.
Yeah.